welcome in everybody to another Granbury interview here on Granbury TV. And today I have the judge, the county judge here from Hood County, and that would be Mr. Cockerham.
Good to see you.
Welcome in.
Good to see you.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a couple of 3 weeks. Things have been really busy, and things moving around. It seems like it's about a 16-hour workday, and it seems like it's 6 or 7 days a week. And I calculated out the other day, if I was paid by the hour, or take my salary and divide it by the number of hours, I'd be making about maybe $20 an hour, which is not bad pay, but it's definitely not 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. It seems like. Wow. Go to church, people talk to you. Go to Walmart, they talk to you. Go to Home Depot, people corral you, and so it's never ending.
It is never ending, and when you're in office, it seems like everybody wants your attention, they want your ear, and that's why you get in office, is to make a difference and to do things. And we'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later on. But the first thing I wanted to hit on, if you don't mind, is this month is regarded as American Red Cross Month, and y'all just passed a proclamation on that.
Right.
And I was at the Commissioner's Court, right, and I heard that they're in a transition. The Red Cross is. They've lowered their workforce down from 178 employees to 111. And here in Hood County, we see the Red Cross when we need them, such as in the few years back when we had the flood down there on the river.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And some folks in some community got hit. But talk a little bit about that and that proclamation that
of course, the American Red Cross is such a great organization. One of the things that they do is blood drives and things like that, and for just anybody that needs it. The other thing is like you said, is communities in need, they respond. When I was in high school, we had a tornado in our town. American Red Cross was there the next day setting up, with sandwiches and drinks and stuff for the workers and anybody else that needed it, because it basically, we were kind of a one-horse town. We had one street that went down the middle of the town, and they came in, and all the grocery stores were shut down, and they came in and fed people. Very good organization, very good. I'm really glad to have done that proclamation for them.
Well, I'll tell you what, I am too. The Red Cross, a much needed entity especially when you need it. And then, like you said, the blood drives and everything that they do on an everyday basis. So if you see someone in the community that's involved in the Red Cross, you want to shake their hand and tell them that you're glad for their service.
That's true.
Just like a serviceman.
It is. Absolutely. Thank you for your service.
And EDC, let's update the EDC a little bit. I know that's still going on.
It is. We have a new president of the EDC, Randy Pearson, and what we've done is we voted to expand it. What we want it to do right now, it's organized as the president will be a community member, a businessman, and then you have 2 members from the city and 2 members from the county. And what we want to do is that we want this not to be, or even appear to be, a governmental organization with, like, I'm on it, Steve Barry's on it, the mayor is on it, and the city manager is on it. So what we don't want it to be is people just to think of it as some kind of a government thing, and we're doing everything for the government. What the EDC is truly what it's supposed to be is an economic development corporation to bring businesses in, to employ people, to lower tax rates and things like that by adding to the tax base. So if we can get more and more business people, so we're restructuring to try to do that, to try to get more and more business people on that, and it looked less government, and we're still going to fund it. And we had been funding it up to $100,000 a year, and we cut it back to $50,000 this year, and the city matches that. City, county both put in the same amount, and so but I think you've got to spend a little money to make some money, and to bring some businesses into the county. And I'm going to try to get the Commissioner's Court to up it to $100,000 again. I know we didn't last year because it was an extremely bad year budget-wise, but I want to do that.
Well, speaking of the budget, I know you guys are hard at work, still trying to map everything out. How is that going?
Well, yesterday I had a meeting with Stan McBroom. He's the county auditor, and he really is the guy that, I guess with my direction and the direction of the Commissioner's Court, crunches all the numbers and makes sure, what we do is we get a tax roll from the appraisal district, and then it says you multiply that times the a tax rate to get the amount of money we're going to get in. Well, what happens is that you have a new effective tax rate every year, and so what you do is you take the amount of money that you got in last year and you divide the evaluation into it, and you get a new effective tax rate. In other words, this would be the tax rate to raise exactly the same amount of money as you did last year. Well, what we did is we went $1.50 under that last year. So we had to cut out about $1 million out of the budget last year, and we still we were $1.50 under the effective tax rate, which would have been the same amount of money that we'd raised the previous year, but we raised it 1/2 cent, but so we may have to do more this year. The evaluations keep going down. The gas prices, that's a big deal. All the gas wells, we get money from them, sales tax and so forth. After that, the price is so low that it just keeps dropping. So we're going to have a really rough budget year this year. We're already starting.
I hear that it's extremely tight, and like you said, I was driving down the road the other day, and I see the gas price surge 5 cents within just sitting at a red light.
Right.
And so it's scary, the thought of where we might be going, and how a lot of people don't realize that when you're setting down to do a budget on a county-wide basis, you got to take a lot of factors in play.
That's true. Last year we gave every employee a small raise, and none of the department heads or elected officials got a raise. We just didn't feel like it would be proper to do that. We can't just keep raising salaries and everything on the taxpayers' back. We had to make some decisions, and that's what we decided to do. But like you said, gas prices is going up. I sign every or look at every purchase order that comes into the county. I see those gas prices going up. Road Ops buys a lot of diesel, a lot of gas. All the patrol cars, that price just keeps going up, so it's going to cost more. Health insurance keeps going up. I don't take the county insurance. I do not take that. I have my own insurance. It saves the county some money. And there's some other people that do the same thing. But I try to do as much as possible as I can not to impact the budget.
And if more individuals were to do that, if they were to try to see where they can make just one subtle change in what they do to help offset and augment that, then I think the budget can be more manageable.
Right.
That's just my personal belief.
Right.
Speaking of insurance,
okay,
let's talk about it, because I know this is a hot topic. Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. You know what that is?
Yes, I do, and it's Obamacare.
It's Obamacare.
And it just came out this morning that this thing was sold with a couple of I guess misstatements in it. I'm trying to select some politically correct words here, and but one of the things I think they've said that the cost of this thing is going to be twice, 3, 4 times, up to 4 times as much as they had said. Well, they said they're still going to save us money, because what they're doing is there's a lot of taxes in there and fees and so forth in there. It's going to bring in X amount of dollars to offset some of the cost increases. But then I heard this morning that Obamacare was supposed to be covering more people, but 3 to 5 million people are going to lose their current insurance when they go on this. I mean, it keeps getting worse. It was bad at first, and I don't know how a legislator could make a statement. We're going to have to pass it to know what's in it. I mean, how do you vote on something without knowing? I mean, doesn't that seem totally irresponsible?
Very irresponsible.
It would be like me carrying the budget to the commissioners and say, okay, vote on it. And they say, well, what's the amount? Oh, well, you have to pass it so we can see what's in it. I mean, yeah, what?
Or someone coming up to you and say, will you sign this, please?
That's right.
Oh, don't need to read it, but just sign
Yeah,
it.
or just a blank piece of paper.
Yeah.
I'll fill it in later.
I'll
Don't
fill
worry.
it in.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense.
It does not make any sense. And now at the last Commissioners Court, y'all passed a resolution and sent a letter opposing
Right.
this act
Right.
to Rick Perry's office.
That's right. That's right. What we and a lot of county judges are doing this, and we passed it through the Commissioners Court. And what we, like I said in a meeting the other night, Rick Perry has made statements that the federal government is encroaching into our business. Not only the individual's rights, but some of the things that were originally set up in the Constitution of the United States to be state rights. And as over the period of the 200 and odd years that we've been a nation, the federal government seems to be encroaching into states' rights. And they do that by giving you money. And they say, well, if you do this, we'll give you money.
Buy your way in.
And consequently, now they have their head so far in the trough that there's no room for anybody else. And so I think it's time that we take back our nation. We need to be a country of laws, and that's what we are. We need to follow the Constitution in all areas. You can't just, because it doesn't suit your purposes, go around it.
Well, the 10th Amendment means something to me.
Yeah.
And I would like to see us try to keep
I would too.
everything in place.
One of the things I see these, little things going around where they say that we need to, what it said was, if you don't balance the budget, Mr. Congressman, then you're ineligible to run for office. You can't run again. So if you don't pass a balance, then why don't we get amendments like that passed? Why don't we hold those people accountable, responsible? And it's Republican and Democrat both. But we just need to take this country back.
Absolutely, absolutely. And now here's something that I wanted to talk about is this coast to coast. I know very little about it. I know that it is a drug discount card. Tell us a little bit about what you know about it.
Well, here's what happened. We had a drug discount card through NACO, which is the National Association of Counties. And basically they said, here, this is for your citizens. It's really good. Use it. And we passed them out and people were using them, And then this other company came in, coast to coast, and said, I tell you what we'll do. We will pay you $1.50 for every prescription that is filled if they use our coast to coast card. So the county had a chance to make some money to help alleviate some of the taxes on the people. And so we did that. And an employee came up the other day and told me, she said, my brother just purchased he has to take medicine every month, and his normal bill is like $65, and they got it for $29 with this card, and he is very happy with it. And I wanted to talk to everybody about this because if you don't have a prescription insurance on your current insurance, contact the county HR office and get one of these cards because it will save you money. It's very good deal, and we just need to get the word out.
And see, that's good. That's something that y'all found out about and started to use on the county level, and now you're wanting, just individual citizens. You're out there, and everybody's struggling with health care. Everybody's struggling with insurance and
cost.
The cost and the bills that pile up, especially our elderly. And if someone needs something like this, you're just putting it out there. Contact the county office, and we'll help you, general public.
That's right.
It's awesome.
Well, I think that's one of the big things that government should do. Is to help the citizens, and that's the reason I ran. That's the reason, I thought we could put better management in and save some money to the county. And of course, when you do that, you're going to make enemies. People are going to be shooting at you. But you know what? As long as, like Davy Crockett said, be sure you're right and go ahead, then, we'll take the slings and arrows and we'll move ahead.
Absolutely. And with that said, brings me up to my next question. What does a county judge do? Now, there's a lot of people, there's there's stuff going on everywhere. People like to, like you say, sling arrows and throw things and that sort of thing. But I think it's important to just let the general public know, what does a county judge do? What can you expect from your county judge?
I tell you, the county judge, we have a magazine that comes out every month. It's called the Texas Progressive or County Progressive or whatever it is. And it says, one of those in there is, well, what is a typical day? Well, there's no typical day. You know, you walk down the hall or you walk outside and somebody says, hey, my taxes are too high. I want you to start, cut. And the next guy you say, why don't you raise taxes because we need more deputies? I mean, so it's just 50% of the people are pulling in different directions at any one time. But I printed this out because I knew you were going to ask that question. And it says the Texas Constitution vests broad judicial and administrative powers in the position of county judge, who presides over a 5-member commissioner court, which is budgetary and administrative authority over government operations. Now that's general. What I do is, in a judicial, 40% of my job is judicial. 60% of it is administrative and budget. And what I do, I do all probates unless they're contested. I do all guardianships. I do mental commitment hearings, and I do juvenile detention hearings. And that's the legal side of it. But the county judge also handles things like hearings for beer and wine licenses, hearing for admittance into the state hospitals, is what I just said about mentally ill, mentally retarded, juvenile work permits, temporary guardianships and guardianships. Also responsible for calling elections. We just had this big deal going on about, when the 3-judge panel went to 29th and all of that, so of May is when our election is set. Well, it's my responsibility to see that election is called. And we do post the election notices, and we receive and canvass the election returns. And by the way, I can perform marriages. And I did one the other day. I've done 2 since I've been in office. And one I did in Spanish, and which was kind of interesting. And the other one I did to a daughter of a county employee, and she wanted really me to do it in Gaelic. And I said, it's not that good.
Not that good.
So I said, well, let's just throw a little Irish in there, and then we'll
There
go.
you go.
And of course, it's St. Patrick's Day
Oh
tomorrow.
my goodness, I love it.
Yeah. So anyway, over in Somerville County now, the county judge does a little more because they do not have a county court at law, and he does the DWIs and criminal mischief and some of the A and B misdemeanor things like that, whereas I don't do those here. So, but it's a big job.
It is a big job. It has a lot of, like you say, administrative and judicial, and to try to fit all of that in a weekly, in monthly and daily genre. Well, that can get very taxing.
Yeah, it is. I
You have to stay on top of things.
You do, and you have to. I stick my nose in that law book about 50% of the time. And one of the things that, like, a guy came in yesterday and he said, "I've got a problem." He said, "There's some people in the county out in one of the 2 of the HOAs." He said that when they shot the grade on the creek, that they made an error. And it's like 2,000 up the creek, they have an elevation, and when they shot the one where their house is, anyway, it was like 21 feet difference. Should have been about a 3-foot difference. And if the original survey was right, the water in the creek would be 3 feet over the bridge. And so you say, well, okay, big deal. What happened is the people up on the hill that were out of the floodplain because of this error were in the floodplain. And one guy said his flood insurance, because FEMA requires you to have it through the lender. The lender says, wait a minute, I'm not going to loan you any money, and it's $42,000 a year for insurance. $42,000.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Now, and another was $19,000, but there were several in this. I mean, it may be as many as 40 and 50 families. So is that delineated here in what I was just talking about? No, but it is the county judge's responsibility, I think, to go out and try to rectify that, to try to help those people.
Absolutely.
So can't sell their house, they can't do anything. So, but it's things like that that you get involved in.
Wow, that is
staggering. It is
staggering. And while we're on that topic, there's been a lot of things going on in the area, and just to clarify, can you just kind of edify to our listeners and our viewers what elected officials in county government and the county employees, how is that relationship right now? And also, what makes a difference between when you're overseeing an elected official as opposed to a county employee?
Well, that's a very good question, because I do not oversee any county employees. They stand on their own 2 feet. They're elected and they run their own department. The only thing that I do, along with the Commissioner's Court, is set their budget. And once that budget is set, then it's theirs to administer. Now, there are departments within the county that the Commissioner's Court and the county judge oversees, and that's HR, that's IT, that's purchasing, and the maintenance, for the buildings and so forth, and I'm probably environmental, that we run the recycling. By the way, that's another thing. Please use the recycling. It's out on off of Coke Road, out by where the dog pound is, the animal shelter.
And now, are you going to partake in the Granbury Goes Green? I know that's a city event, but it does deal. We're opening it up. The city is opening it up to county and even outside the county.
Well, I will, because I am now a city resident.
There you go.
As of this past week, we moved from the county into the city.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I'm a city resident now. So.
See, I didn't have a truck. That's why you didn't call me.
Well, it's
to help you move.
I called some guys that came out.
There you go.
So
moving cannot be fun. It's never fun.
No, it's not fun.
I told my wife, if we move again, we're just selling everything there, and we're just going to take our clothes.
I hope to be in this house for another 20 or 30 years.
That's great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And you can bring anything. If you got old tube TV and all that good stuff, you can take it out there.
Well, when we moved out of roughly we had 5 acres. We had to sell our tractor, riding lawnmower, because we have a real small, 0 lot line, and we had several more rooms of furniture, and all that stuff went to Boys and Girls Club. We probably set them up for the next week or two, as far as furniture goes. But yeah, we probably went from maybe 8 rooms to 5 or something like that. So.
We're glad to have you in the city.
Yeah, we're glad to be here.
Are you going to dress green tomorrow and be on the square with everybody?
I will be down on the square tomorrow, but I also have to go to Glen Rose, down to Somerville County, because this is also Texas Independence Day.
Yes, it is.
And so I'm going down there and read a proclamation that we passed in the county for Texas Independence Day.
Great.
So, and I'll be back up here wearing green.
There you go. Anything else?
I just think that people need to get involved in government. And if you think we just closed out the election, but you need to get involved. We need good people to be involved in government. And if you get a chance to serve either on a committee or as an elected official, please sign up and help out, because we need good folks.
Also, don't forget that the open mic night for Commissioner's Court is Commissioner's Court. When do we have those meetings? Just let the public know.
We have 2 a month, and they're on the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays.
Tuesdays.
And so yeah.
And it's a form where you want to be. If you have goodwill or bad will towards the Commissioner's Court, you want to be there so you can get your voice out. If you're going to have an opinion and you're going to voice that opinion, at least get up to date on what is actually going on in your county government, and you can be there. And it's a beautiful setting. I love that courthouse.
It's a little
echoey.
But it's really easy to take shots at people that are doing something.
Exactly.
I mean, it's really easy. But only the people that take those shots are the ones that are moving this county forward.
That's right. And do get involved. That's the main thing.
Absolutely.
Get involved. Well, I'll tell you what, that's going to wrap us up
All right.
for this episode, and I will see you very soon
Okay.
for another edition here on Granbury TV.